the live stream was just stopping, and you know the way to fix everything with the computer, turn it off and turn it back on again. So let's see if we can get through this event right here. Now, we've heard the pledge. I'm sorry, I'm not being cynical about the pledge. I love it. I wrote it, but right now, I just want to bring Chip in and let's get this going while we can, while we still have a good connection. And let's hear from one of our sponsors. Big thanks to Chip Cagle and also to Bay Mountain Capital. There he is. Chip, you're still in the yellow room. How you doing, man?
It's a different room now, though.
Oh, well, it's so much yellow.
Chattanooga.
Oh, yeah, really? Okay, so yesterday Knoxville, today Chattanooga, day before that Nashville. You're a traveling man.
That's right. So, Roger, I'm staying right across from the Chattanooga Lookout Station. And I thought when we finished up, I might go over there and check it out, but it's raining.
Oh, are they supposed to have a game tonight?
Yeah, I can hear them over there, but I guess they probably won't be playing for a while.
Well, I enjoy watching minor league baseball. You know, Major League Baseball is it's basically a fun time to go sit with some friends, drink beer for 3 hours, interrupted by 90 seconds worth of action. But minor league baseball, it's a small town thing, and I've been to a few games, and it's kind of fun. I'm not that big into baseball, but it's kind of fun. You're up closer with the players. And
if it stops raining, maybe I'll go over there and check it out.
Yeah, they're a lot less likely to be prima donnas. Is that a AA affiliate there?
I have no idea what they're affiliated with.
All right. So
anyway, I wanted to tell you the deal.
I
was wanting to tell you about a deal we were doing down near Savannah, Wilmington Island, and that's on the way towards Tybee Island. So it's a steal of a deal. He purchased it for under $174,000, and he's only going to put $19,000 into the rehab.
Wow!
So the total costs are about $193,000. And he thought it was going to be worth $390,000, but the appraisal came back even more, $400,000. So he's going to make a whopping $200,000, probably a little less after costs, but that's an amazing deal. We gave him a $200,000 loan, so that's 100%.
Yeah,
of his, and it's 50% of the value.
Yeah. So your internet's breaking up just a little bit, Chip, but that is an incredible deal. And how much is the money costing him? I don't know if I've asked you that question directly before, but what's it costing him for points? And I guess he's going to keep it about 6 months, let's say. So what is
a 6 month loan, especially with it only being $19,000 of rehab?
Yeah.
We charged him 2 points.
Okay.
And his interest is 9.9%.
So
he's a very experienced borrower with a good credit score.
So let's see about the math in our head. So 2 points on $200,000. That's $4,000, right?
Yep.
All right. And then he's going to pay 10% for 6 months. So that's basically 5% of the loan amount. So that's $10,000 in interest, right?
Yep.
So how many of you watching this right now would pay $14,000 out of pocket in order to gross $200,000 on a deal? Now, let's say that you got to pay commission out of that for sales. Yeah. So maybe you're going to give up, let's just say you give up $30,000. So you're going to clear 270 plus, minus your 14. So you're going to be down around 255 to 260 when the dust settles. 365 to 360 when the dust settles, and you're in it for 200.
Yep.
Yeah. How many of you would sign up to do that deal? Well, here's the message I want you to pass along to the guy, Chip. If he wants to make a quick $20,000, I'll pay cash for the whole thing right now, and I'll take the deal off his hands.
Yeah, probably I won't do that.
Yeah, no, and I'm kind of kidding, but if he were crazy enough to say yes to that, I would do it.
Yeah. So,
Right.
so if y'all want to keep track of what the guy's doing with this property and other properties that he's done over the last year, on Facebook, look for Cotton Coastal Homes and make sure you like the page.
Yeah. Cotton Coastal Homes. All
Yep.
right. All right. So tell us all how if they want to reach out to you and get money for their next deal, whether it's a rental or a flip.
I'm going to put the information into the chat.
Okay.
Is that good?
Yep. Yeah, that's fine. But it's also Chip at Bay Mountain Capital, baymtn.com. Yeah. Chip at baymtn.com.
Right. Or you can spell the whole thing out, baymountaincapital.com.
Sure. All right. All right, Chip. Thanks, man. Appreciate you. Appreciate Bay Mountain and all the good things you're doing for Flipping America RIA and our listeners.
Appreciate you. Thanks.
See you soon, man.
Bye.
All right. Let's bring in, there we go. There's Scott, and let's see. Let me bring in both of you. Scott and Ton, how you doing?
Doing great, Roger. How are you?
Yep, I'm great. I'm just kind of blown away at how things are going this week. Now, the Flipping America RIA, as you know, launched in January of 2020, and then we hit the pandemic. And honestly, I didn't know what would happen. I had no idea that the need to go online was going to be the harbinger of our growth. But today we are 32 chapters nationwide, and we just went over 10,600 meetup members. That's cool.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
I'm glad to be a part of that. So yeah, I'm doing great. And also I got notified that our group is one of the largest buyers on auction.com. And because of that, we're getting some other opportunities reserved for VIP buyers. And that's cool. And we've got a lot of activity flowing and flying around here. And some of it's really good stuff. So yeah, I'm doing great. Now, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great as well. I was going to be a gentleman and let Ton go first.
Oh, Ton, how are you doing?
I've had a great 6 months. I've met all my goals for the 6 months, so I'm taking a break now, and I'm going to be planning for the next 6 months. So.
Oh, all right. So, but it looks like you're still in the United States. What kind of break is this?
Yes. Well, I am going to the mountains for a week. So I've been to Key West, but I'm also going to the mountain in a couple of weeks' time. So can't really go overseas. I would love to see my mom, but it is what it is. Singapore is not letting anyone in.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, enjoy the break. I'm glad you deserve it. You earned it. I know you've worked for it. And Scott, you okay with her taking a little break?
I am more than okay. She has earned it and she deserves it.
Yeah. Or were you just now finding out about this?
No, I was aware.
Yeah. All right. So I asked you guys to come here tonight to talk about negotiation. And now we started the live stream a little while ago and we lost the feed and we're back now. And so I would like to give my little opening spiel once again, if you don't mind, because I want it kind of as a part of this recording. If you are a real estate investor and you're not a great negotiator, you run the risk of leaving $1,000 or so on the table, maybe more, in every deal. And you might think that $1,000 is not that much when you're making $20,000, $25,000, but if you do 5 or 10 deals in a given in a given year, then you're talking about $5,000 or $10,000. And I don't know when this becomes real money to you, but the first $1,000 is real money to me, and $10,000, well, shoot, that could buy you a nice dinner and a expensive bottle of wine at any restaurant in Atlanta. I'm kind of kidding, but it's a lot of money. And I want to remind you of something that my uncle said to me when I was really just getting started in the for-profit business. My uncle was from Western Tennessee and grew up on a farm, but is full of a lot of profound wisdom that he puts into some really interesting sayings. And here's what he said to me. Just remember, son, puppies become dogs. So the little things that we might let go are going to grow up and become big things. And it's best to deal with them and treat them and train them when they're little. And it's best to minimize how much money we leave on the table, while at the same time, and this is just a part of the values that I have, treating people well and doing the right thing by them, not taking advantage of anyone simply because we know more or can be very persuasive, but I call it, there's a website out there, For the Win, and you get these great sports highlights and so forth. For the win, the winning home runs, for. I call this negotiation for the win-win. And I know it's a little bit of a tried and true, and it's almost like just one of those things you hear all the time about seeking the win-win. But there's reality behind it. It's not just a saying, and it's not just a thing. Your people that you deal with can get what they want and need while you get what you want and need. But let's make sure that you also get what you want and need. That's my opening, and I've got with me Scott and Ton, and we are here to talk about negotiation. And I ask them to do this because they negotiate all day, every day, and dozens of deals every month, all through their company. They're working with people, and they're doing creative deal structures, which means they're not just making an offer to a distant bank somewhere. They're talking to real live people with real needs in their lives, and they're trying to make sure that those people are taken care of, their needs are respected, their dignity is kept intact, and you manage to do this and still have incredible deal flow and profit. Welcome to the show, Scott and Ton. I'm glad you're here. Let's dig in, all right?
Thank you so much, Roger.
All right. Now, how would you define negotiation?
Well,
Let
I will
Scott
tell you
go
that.
first.
Thank you. So I guess I would say negotiation, and I love what you said. In fact, I took a seminar in 2002, a gentleman named Barney Zick. And for those that have been around a bit would remember him. Unfortunately, he passed not too long after I went to his seminar, but his theme for negotiating boiled down to one word, and that was preeminence. And preeminence to him, and I'll paraphrase, is really putting your client, your customer, the seller, whoever you're negotiating with, if you can identify what their needs are and put their needs really ahead of yours, again, it's in the spirit of that win-win. You'll identify what their motivation is and ultimately what the numbers they're looking for ultimately need to be. But again, it starts with really putting them first ahead of yourself. I would really boil it down to that simple statement. And that was a takeaway I learned 19 years ago and lived to it, subscribe to it today.
Okay. Ton?
Yes, I have the same philosophy as Scott. Scott puts it so exquisitely. I don't know that I can put it as exquisitely. But my philosophy is that you've got to take care of your clients. If you take care of them and listen to them, and it's all about them, and they know it, and you give them what they want, understand them, the rest will come to you. As long as it's reasonable, what they want is reasonable. So I'd like to go back to your first point. I'm really excited about what you said about not leaving money on the table, your introduction about, so for example, in Pink, we are taught, or rather our deal is our minimum fee is $10,000. On an average, the company average of most of our fee lists is about $15,000. I've never focused on the $10,000, but do my best in negotiating and taking care of my seller or buyers. And my average is between $20,000 and $30,000. Okay, so if you think that, to the audience that's listening here, about leaving money on the table, if I stayed at the $10,000 and my mindset was $10,000, I would be leaving $15,000 on the deal for 8 deals. I only do about 6 to 8 deals a year. That would be leaving like $120,000 on the table. And therefore, negotiation and understanding your client, listening to them, and them knowing that you're working on their side, that's the most important thing.
All right. So that's a pretty good understanding of the philosophy behind it and what it is we're trying to do. When you are aware that you're in a situation where there's a negotiation taking place, what are some of the first thoughts that come through your mind when you're trying to size up the person sitting on the other side of the table? What are you thinking about?
Well, I would say that first and foremost, if I'm dealing with a seller, my first question after some pleasantries and ideally establishing a bit of a rapport is, do you mind if I ask why you're selling? Right there off the bat is going to tell you their motivation, or at least the initial reasons why. When you can identify that, that obviously is going to uncover what they're trying to accomplish at the end of the day. And there are obviously countless different scenarios, but that is always the first question for me, to identify what their motivation is. And then you kind of back in from there. One of the things I learned at the seminar is, as you find out their motivation, in that process, you usually can find out what they're looking for as a bottom line number. I don't want to get too far in right off the bat, but when you're identifying if in fact there's a debt on the home, what the approximate balance might be, any other variables, tax liens, other liens that might be on the property, if you can identify what a net number for the seller is going to be, take away all the debts, all the things that need to be satisfied in order to clear the property, whatever you can find or what they're expecting as a net number, if you can identify that, you can really work backwards trying to get the final price together.
Okay, Don, you're going to add something?
Well, so yes, so following what Scott said, what Scott's doing there is what I call getting to know your seller and showing interest in their circumstances. And so we're paying attention to them and giving them our undivided attention. Then later I will ask them, regarding the price, how did they derive at that price? What is it that they would like to see happen? What is it that they wish to see manifested at the end of the day? And if I know what they want, and then we can have another conversation about it.
Say that last part again. You kind of broke up.
I said that if they tell me what they want, what they would like to see manifested in the property, what they would like to get in terms of their money, then we can open up the conversation again to see how we can get there.
All right. What do you do if what they want is far away from what you're willing to pay? Then how do you approach it?
Well, I typically ask them, how did they come to that price? Get an understanding of how their mind works.
All right.
And then if it's unrealistic, then I will show them my data as to what has happened the last 6 months around their area. This is a conversation. It's about educating each other and showing each other interest in each other's views. And you'll be surprised. They'll come up more and say, I compared it with my friend down the road, but their house may have been renovated. It may be a different size house. It may be different rooms and things like that. And we can always work together. So we'll get to know what he's talking about. It's all about spending that time and not going straight to the number and make that get a hang up about it. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Same question to you, Scott.
I don't care what they want. I always work around them. Okay.
Yeah. Because all right. So you're far away, Scott. What's your next approach?
Yeah, so first and foremost, to Tom's point, I think, again, why are you selling? What's your motivation? How did you arrive at your price? You think everyone has a scientific comparable sale approach, but we find that a lot don't. They are comparing to someone down the road. They may just be trying to get some number. And so educating them is obviously key. If they have a debt on the property and are expecting a certain number, we want to try to identify that. But look, if they're in another orbit, the price is high and it just is outside of the bounds of what's going to be acceptable for us as investors, rather than waste time and kind of pussyfoot around the pricing, it's our job to get to the point, be efficient. We can do it politely, and but time is the one commodity that nobody has unlimited amounts of, and so we want to work efficiently and effectively. We have a seller that has the right motivation, but is pricing it incorrectly. How they come up with the price? If there's logic to that, obviously we want to try to pivot off of that to get them to a number that would be acceptable to us. And there's a game you can kind of play, and game's probably the wrong word, but if we were to present something to you that around this number or something to that effect, is that something that you'd consider? if we have the ability to close quickly or under the right circumstances. So again, it's conversational, but at the end of the day, if they're motivated and priced wrong, we need to find out how they got there and try to get them obviously to a realistic number. If we can't do that today, ultimately, we'd like to put them in the pipeline and see if time and circumstances will change down the road. That's in a normal market. Obviously, we're in a bit of an abnormal market right now, but those are questions that really can help you get to the bottom line and ultimately see if you're wasting your time or you actually have a potential opportunity in front of you.
But now yeah, go ahead.
Can I add on to Scott, maybe deviate a little? Because I'm so excited when it comes to talking about money and price, okay? So I rarely ever let my seller go and not take the property, okay? Unless it's ridiculous, like $150,000 more than the comps, then that's ridiculous. Then I know he's playing with me. It's not serious, okay? But if it's anywhere between 10 and 20%, I'll take it, all right? And he was adamant that he doesn't want to come down, even if it's 20% more. I would say something like this to him. I said, I would love to take your property to the market. Know that it's a little higher than my expectation, but you know what? Let's put it out there and see what the market tells us. At the end of the day, it's not what you say or I say. It's what the market's going to tell us what we're going to get. So can I get your permission that if we do not get the desired results in the next 2 or 3 weeks, that you allow me to come back to you and revisit the pricing matter? Is that okay with you?
All right. That's good. Did Scott teach you to say all that, or did you just figure that out?
A little bit, Scott teach me, yeah.
Tana's a natural. She's a natural.
Yeah, she's always been, pretty good at just putting it out there. I like the way that you said that. But now, when you talk about taking it to the market, you can't list the property. You're not a realtor, right?
No, I'm not a realtor. What I take to market means that I will advertise it. I will take it under contract and advertise it, the normal business sense.
But you just leave yourself the opportunity to come back and renegotiate the contract with them.
Yes, of course.
Yeah,
yes.
And actually, I like that. I like that approach a lot. So, all right. So, what percentage of times do you just end up walking away and don't do anything with the deal?
Very rarely do I walk away from the deal. Very rarely do I have a very unreasonable, so probably once or twice, no more than that. And that's when I know they're not serious with me. They're just, okay, so we can't do much about that. They're just sussing you out.
Yeah. What do you do in the way of pre-qualifying before you even show up at a property?
Pre-qualifying the seller before I turn out for the property?
To make sure they're serious and they're motivated and that sort of thing.
Well, typically the property would already be listed in for sale by owner. So
Okay.
I know they're on the market. Yeah, so they would have a price there. They're listed on for sale by owner, and I get to see them, to do the work for them without charging them a commission. So on that basis, they'd like to see me and see what I can do for them.
Okay. All right. That's good. So that's you just gave away a big source of your leads.
No, I better not say too much, right?
All right. Now, last time we were on, Scott, you gave us an excellent kind of an overview of the 5 ways, the 5 points or parts of the deal where Little Pink Houses makes money. And if you don't mind, could you just quickly summarize those for us again? Because I want you all to pay attention to this, because this is where it's very easy to leave $1,000 or so on the table. And I think Little Pink Houses has it all covered. So, Scott, take it away.
Thank you. So, well, let me say the deals that we're able to qualify or carve out 5 different profit centers are deals where a seller is willing to work with some sort of a terms arrangement, whether that's a lease purchase, some sort of an installment contract where they're willing to take payments. And so what we've identified in that scenario are there are 5 ways that we can profit. And really, it just has become trial and error. We've tried some things and asked some questions. You never know what you're going to get until you ask. So number 1, we have a price with them. We'll negotiate price down. We then take the home to the market at a higher price. We get paid right off the bat from the down payment we receive with the buyer. So that's our first profit center and typically our biggest. The second one is, again, by virtue of the negotiation we have with the seller, we will ask to keep the very first payment. So it's our buyer. We're committing to make the payments to the seller, but we're letting them know that we keep the very first payment that we collect from our buyer. That's really the cost to the seller. So the seller makes their mortgage payment. If there is one, we will collect their very first payment. The third profit center is the monthly cash flow. If we can find a seller, if in fact they have a mortgage, we'll find out what the monthly payment is, any additional debt services, taxes, insurance, homeowner associations, things of that nature. Many times sellers will be happy if somebody just covers the monthly debt service. And so if we're able to get a payment or to the seller at $1,200 and we can take it to the market at $1,500, we're able to carve out $300 a month positive cash flow. And that is a goal of ours, by the way. And every deal we do, we'd like to carve out at least $300 a month positive cash flow. We don't get it every time, but we certainly look for it and ask for it. And you never know what you get until you ask. The fourth profit center is we keep the very last payment before our buyer gets a traditional mortgage. So if it's a 12-month term, we keep the first payment and the 12th payment. If you're an agent or broker, you can put a 0.5% or 1% commission on the settlement statement when the buyer is getting their traditional financing. Again, it's by virtue of asking for it is how we're able to get it. There are times the seller is not okay with that, and we will kind of concede that, kind of put that chip back in the pot for negotiating. And in some ways, by asking for a monthly payment, we're creating a negotiating chip that we can give back to the seller to enhance or sweeten the deal. And then the fifth profit center, which also can be our biggest one, is a spread between what we've negotiated with our seller and what we've negotiated with our buyer. Our buyer gets a traditional mortgage. We do work with them in that capacity. We pay the seller off, and we will keep the difference. So those are the 5 profit centers. And most of the deals that we do, we don't get all 5 every deal, but we try to get all 5. And we actually call that the Pentagon profit sphere. That's an internal phrase that we put together, but we shoot for the Pentagon in every deal we do. And Tan has become so efficient with achieving the Pentagon profit sphere, we actually renamed it the Pentaton profit sphere because she's so good at it. But
No, Scott, you're just too kind. You know, it took me a while to get all the 5, believe me, Roger. I mean, I thought I was good, but there are some people, other affiliates in the organization. The other day I heard someone said they've got a $500 spread each month. Now that is magnificent. Why? Because sometimes the sellers say, I just, want to pay my mortgage, and that's fine, So you do get sellers like that. And I was surprised they made a $500 spread. So I've still got a long way to learn to get there.
Well, this is one of the great things about this business. You can be in it, you can be making money, and you can learn as you go, and you're always learning. And this is a word, Tan, that's a great word to put out to everyone watching right now. Don't wait till you know enough to get started. Get started, make offers, do some things. This is not rocket surgery. You can figure it out as you go along, and you can get better. If you look back now, I went to my first boot camp thing on real estate investing after I had flipped 75 houses. And I sat there, and this is when that dawned on me that I had let some puppies become dogs. I'm leaving money on the table with every deal because I don't know what I'm doing with this thing there and that thing there, and I didn't really advocate for my price here. I just sort of took it, went along with it, not wanting to upset anybody or roil the waters or make anyone angry with me. And I learned some very valuable things there. And what we're talking about here is getting better at getting what you want, but also making sure that they get what they need, right? And it's okay to get better at it. Agreed?
Right. Yes, and that's why real estate is so exciting and so fun because it's such an evolving thing, an evolving industry. And we get so many opportunities to do so many different things, so many different strategies. In fact, with Pink Now, with the market changing, we actually are teaching our affiliates how to meet the needs of the market and flipping properties, flipping pretty prices, pretty houses, and selling traditionally.
Yeah. All right. Now, if you're watching and you've got questions, if you're watching the live stream right now, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, and if you want to ask Tan and Scott something, just put it in the comments. I'll see it. I'll put it up there and we'll talk about it. But I do want to talk about Little Pink Houses. I like what you do. I like your philosophy. That's why I keep having you on. But I like the approach that you take and the fact that you have a very high close rate, and you do some other things like we talked about previously. You help your buyers improve their credit and make them credit worthy so they can get the loan to close out on the deal. You do a lot of things that cover pretty much all the bases all the way through this thing, and you have an affiliate program. I would like for Scott, if you wouldn't mind, talk a little bit about your affiliate program, because I want people to hear about it, and I know that you might be looking for some more affiliates in different markets.
Yes, thank you. And thank you for the opportunity. We currently have 86 affiliates in markets around the country, and we have a program that is bringing people under our umbrella, becoming a part of our team, and being a representation of Little Pink Houses of America. With the affiliate relationship, you are getting access to not only all of our staff, but everything that we put together, all of our branding, all of our marketing, scripts, contracts. You literally are buying a business in a box. And so for folks that are ready to get going in real estate, one of the things that we love to tell people is that you're not alone. You've got a whole team of people behind you that support and offer tremendous support, coaching, know-how, the whole 9 yards. Collectively, we have over 150 years of experience with the principals and the leadership team, and something I'm very, very proud of. We've been able to put together some really, really great people. Very honored to have them under our umbrella. So Tan is one of our superstars, and she's really been a delight to have, and sets the pace for many of our affiliates for sure. But if there's anybody out there that loves real estate, wants to get into real estate, regardless of experience level, we have seasoned veterans that come on board, and we certainly have folks that have never done a deal before as well. We've got training and support, and again, we have a very distinct way that we go about our not only investing, but how we want to do business. And it really is the theme of the podcast today. We believe that you can have make a very good living, make a very good profit, and still have everybody walk away from the closing table feeling like they got a victory. It doesn't have to be a zero-sum game. And so when I share that on different podcasts and different opportunities like this, it always seems to connect with some people that how we do business and the approach we take, which is, again, what you've shared up front in this, really connects with people, and something that I'm proud of. And so we are looking for good people, regardless of experience level, and regardless of your market. There's tremendous opportunities now. It is a challenging market, but there's going to be some big changes forthcoming. And if people want to be positioned for those, and they're looking for a team of people to do it with, I don't know that you're going to find better. I'm biased, but that's what I really believe.
All right. So what's the website or email address you want people to contact you? I'm going to put it on screen.
Thank you. Well, Pink Houses of America is our primary website. We have pinkaffiliates.com for those that are looking to learn a little about the affiliate relationship. And Tan would be a great person to reach out to. And it's Tan Fen, TANFEN, at littlepinkhouesesofamerica.com. All
right. So, Tan, that's great. Now, we've got a question from Jamal, and I'm going to put it up here on screen and take that off for just a minute. Jamal, how many touches before you get the deal, and what system is used to keep track?
So as far as touches are concerned, it's a great question. I would tell you that rarely do we have one call closes, as we call them. Obviously, you get a seller that has the right motivation. I think we've got really great scripts. They're very unique. We put them together, obviously, over years and years of making mistakes and finding out what worked and what didn't. But we usually can get to the bottom line relatively quickly. But I would tell you that the one touches are rare. Usually it's three to four touches before we're able to get the deal. I will also tell you that one of our intents early on with people that are, I guess, relatively inexperienced, we want to get them in the living room. So our scripts are designed to get people in the living room. When you're in front of somebody, your chances of leaving with a deal are enhanced exponentially than when you're just another person on the phone. So probably 3 to 4 touches on average, with the intent to get inside the house. And then ultimately, as we say, if you're in our office and you're walking out the door to go to an appointment, we have one phrase we say: don't come back without a contract. If you're coming back, you better have a deal in hand. Otherwise, don't even show up. So we like, hey, listen, if you're getting out there, it's that mindset, right, Tom? It's the mindset. You're going there, believing you're going to get a contract. I've also got to tell you, and forgive me for running on here, but part of what we offer with our affiliate program, we have proprietary contracts. And one thing I've always learned or believed in and learned over time is the easier you can make the contracts, the easier you can make them to sign, the easier it is to obviously leave with the deal. And I don't know other outfits. Most of our contracts initially are one page. and we make it very easy for our people to sign the agreements, and that really enhances our close rate. As far as how we keep track, and we have a custom CRM that we use, and it is just a lead management system. We use a company called Keep. And we have it obviously internally, but we do use a customer relationship management program for keeping track.
Okay. Well, that's good.
I
Todd,
like
you
to
wanted to add something.
Yes, I'd like to expound a little bit on what Scott said about 3 or 4 touches. It might sound like a lot, but understand that our script and most of the talking is done in the 3 to 4 phone calls. So we pretty much close the deal already, 80%. By the time we go out, it's simply to get the paperwork done and to view the property, whether it is in the right, it's what do you say, fit for us. It's the right fit for us to do this, okay? So that's why we focus so hard on the 3 or 4 phone calls to make sure that all questions are answered, all parties are happy before we go and see the seller.
All right.
The second point I'd like to make is that I think Scott is too humble to say this, but one of the magnificent things for our affiliates when you join is that we have a world-class coaching and teaching system. So the first 4 days is with our CEO himself to actually train you, okay? And then we have a 6 weeks, a modules training with myself to take you through the concept and to build the foundation before you go out. And after that, you have an individual coach assigned to you that are world-class coaches every week, dedicated a special time for you for the next whole year. So I think that we don't say this enough. We really hold their hands. And so they have no reason not to work.
And I do know that that's true. And I will also say this. This is an ideal thing for people who have tried the fix and flip thing and tried to buy beat up ugly houses and make them into something beautiful, and it just wasn't your thing. You're dealing with people who have usually nice houses, well maintained, in good areas. So you're not going into war zones, and you're not trying to figure out how we're going to get this fixed, and is this full of mold or things like that. It's a whole different set of people, sellers, and the quality of house. And that may be right up the alley of a lot of people that are listening to this right now.
I'm one of those people, yes. I went to the war zones and I didn't like all the dirt and the distressed houses and the drunken people and the depressed spirits and having to bring a gun with me, and I'm not allowed to drive a nice car. I should drive a bomb. It was just too scary for me when I had to do this on my own without a coach.
Yeah.
And if I may add to that, excuse me, I cut my teeth in war zones. I've been doing this, it's my 25th year, and I had a father who was in real estate, so I'm kind of a real estate kid, or was, I should say. I still think I'm a kid, but I'm not anymore. And I learned quickly that, number one, being in war zones is the exact opposite place I wanted to be. But the effort that you undertake on the deals, obviously that can fluctuate, but there's only so many hours in a day, and I realized that if you dealt with a little bit of a nicer inventory, a couple extra zeros, you're likely going to receive a couple extra zeros on your paycheck. And so we deal in pretty houses in nice areas, great schools, great families. And again, to Tom's point, she's average mindset is at least 15,000. She's doing 20 to 30,000 per deal. And so again, it's based on the fact we're dealing in nicer price points. I will tell you, I've got one little tidbit I'd love to share on negotiations. When I have a moment, I'll defer to you, Roger, on that.
Oh, all right. Well, it's time for tidbits. This is a good time to go ahead and share it.
All right.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Well,
Hold that thought for just a second. Hold your tidbit. Let me make an announcement here, and I kind of already had it on screen once. Put it back on screen. We have a course at the Flipping America Academy on negotiation. It's a miniature course. The retail, it's basically 5 lessons, and you can go through it. And the approach to this is, look, we're not going to teach you a bunch of complicated scripts. We're going to teach you basic concepts to make you better tuned in to the situation and improve your instincts. Okay, so the course retails for $29, but if you go to this, use this link, bit.ly/FA negotiation, all lowercase, no spaces. Use the coupon code 2021 GLS. That's going to get this course basically half price. You'll get it for $15 instead of $29. $15 for a course in negotiation. And you're going to want to go deeper and get better, but the purpose of this course is to help you get started being a better negotiator. All right, we're going to come back to you, Scott, for the final word, and tune us up and get us out of here.
By the way, that's a heck of a deal for 5 lessons on negotiating. I don't know anyone crazy not to
I
take
know.
that. So, well, one of the things I learned early on from my dad, and I got to tell you, we've had so much fun with this, and this, it's not even a word, it's an actual sound that we make that has literally generated tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in extra profit. When you're negotiating, and these would be more specific to cash deals and dealing with the seller, not necessarily a bank or an REO agent, but when you deal with the seller, the question is, if we had the ability to close quickly, get you a check within 7 days, what's the least you can take, right? And you smile, and he who talks next loses. Regardless of what they say, your next response is, ooh, that sounds like a lot. It's amazing what can happen after that point. Just ooh. So, and actually, if you don't even say it sounds like a lot, I've had people that literally will counter themselves, go right back down just by virtue of your grunt sound. So you ask them the question, what's the least you can take if we can get you a check in 7 days, close quickly. One of the things I do like to do is even after pay their closing costs, I find that's a little value add when you're dealing in cash buys that may separate you from other people that are competing against you. But it's almost no matter what they say, if your next response after you ask the question, what's the least they're willing to take, they come back to you and you say, ooh, they will counter themselves many times. And hardest part is trying to keep a straight face when you're doing it, because you're waiting for them to respond. And so we've had some fun with that over the years. And kidding aside, though, it has been a very effective way to get people down. And again, when you're having fun, sometimes we'll chuckle. But I've always believed people like to do this because we don't take ourselves too seriously. We have fun at what we do. We believe in preeminence, putting the customer or client, whoever we're working with, first. We know we're going to do well if we can satisfy their needs first and foremost. And I think that comes through when we're dealing with people. So that would be my story or my tidbit to end with.
All right. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Ton. Appreciate you joining us tonight. That's all we have time for tonight. And you see the websites there if you want to check it out, pinkhousesofamerica.com, pinkaffiliates.com. Remember, if you have questions about real estate or real estate investing, questions at flippingamerica.net. We answer every question that comes in. We have answered every question, and now we're getting close to 1,000 questions that have come in over the past few years as we've launched this. Questions at flippingamerica.net. We will answer your question. If I don't know the answer, we will find someone who does. We're here to help you, to give you a lot of value. And thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Thank you, Scott and Ton. I just want to thank you for being here. Yeah. And there are the links to the website, and I'm going to put back up before we go, if I can find it over here. No, I don't see it. I'm not going to wander around looking for it over here. But it's bit.ly/FA negotiation, and the coupon code is 2021 GLE. No, GLS. 2021 GLS. And you got that? You've got, and I should tell you, that coupon code is good for only the first 50 people that take it. If you got to be in one of the first 50 to get that discount. After that, coupon runs out. It's no good anymore. So thank you. All right. That's it for tonight. We'll be back next Wednesday. We've got Seth Williams, I think it's Williams, R.E. Tipster coming up next week. We'll see you.